Welcome back again, Year 11. So this is now the second half of the lesson that we did last Thursday, the 19th of November. All right, we're going to move on to look at question 2. So this is question 2 on the screen here. You need to refer to source A and B for this question. Those are some of the key words to pick out of this question. As I said, each question will identify which sources you need to be looking at for each individual one. Both sources give details about the places where the events occur. Use details from both sources to write a summary of the differences between Aberfan and London. Keywords there, both sources, summary, differences, Aberfan and London, okay? Writing a summary of the differences between Aberfan and London. Your ability to identify and draw information out of a text, your ability to show understanding of what is going on. So to help us out with this, I came up with a range of questions I'd like you to consider in relation to the text, okay? Remember, just source A and then source B. So source A and B for this question, okay? But the first questions here are just based on source A, and then we move on to source B with the latter question. So have a look back at both source A and B and try and answer these questions. So where is source A based? How is this place described? What does it suggest about the place? We're trying to make its inferences. And then finally, where is source B, that should say? Where is source B based? How is this place described? What does it suggest about the place? And then finally, number 7, do the sources have a geographical feature in common? So pause the video now, go back and have a read through both extracts and then play the video again. We'll see what answers you come up with, and I will go through the answers. Okay, hopefully by now you've managed to have a chance, hopefully by now you've had a chance to look at both of those extracts. This is where your comments next to each paragraph should come in handy. All right, on source A, you wrote next to the first paragraph, we were describing Aberfan, so we know to look for that first paragraph to talk about Aberfan. And similarly with source B, it's paragraph 5 that talks about London, but because we have the note saying describing London, next to that paragraph, we know to look there for that extract. So answering question 1, where is source A based? Aberfan. Number 2, how is this place described? It's described as a small mining village that few people had hardly ever heard of. All right, it was tucked away in the South Wales Valley. And what does this suggest about the place? We could infer that because it's tucked away, it's kind of hidden. It's hidden from view. All right, and the only reason that this extract has been written, we must remember, is because of the disaster that took place. So we could perhaps kind of say that had it not been for the disaster, this place might not even have been talked about, which suggests it's kind of being hidden and forgotten. Question 4, where is source B based? That should be. All right, we're talking about London here. The one main place it talks about is London. All right, how is this place described? It's described as a colossal city, all right, with vast warehouses, with trains rushing through, underground, where men work in darkness, etc., etc. And question number 6, what does this suggest about the place? And the fact that it's described as a colossal city suggests that it is gigantic. All right, it's huge, it's enormous. You might think it's somewhere that's so busy you wouldn't think a natural disaster could kind of happen to it, because why would they build it up there? Then move on to question 7 there. Do the sources have a geographical feature in common? If you spotted this, well done. Both sources do feature a river, okay? As I said, often source A and source B will have close links. They will share various features, okay? And both Aberfan and London do have a river, which is going to be the focus of our next set of questions. So the river in Aberfan is talked about in the second paragraph, whereas in source B it's talked about in paragraph 5 with the London paragraph. So once again, pause the video so you can have a look at these questions here, all right? Try and answer the questions on the board about both rivers in both sources. Okay, hopefully by now you've managed to have a look at the descriptions of both rivers in both sources. So, number 1, how is the river in source A described? It's described as being as black as the Styx, all right? As the extract noted, the Styx was a river in Greek mythology that separated the lands of the living and the dead. You had to travel on the Styx in order to get to the realm of the dead. But why is the river like this? Is my next question. Why is the river as black as the Styx? And it's to do with the natural coal mining waste, all right? We must note, it'd be interesting to note for later on, that it is a natural form of waste, okay? It comes from a natural source, but it is because of the coal waste seeping down into the river that it is as black as the Styx. But if we then look at source B, how is the river in source B described? We can see that it is described as having muddy and dull water as of the Great River. It is described as a great river, but the water is muddy and dull. And then question 4, why is the river like this? Why is the river like this? It's because of the warehouses, the man-made waste from the warehouses. So we do have that comparison, that juxtaposition between the natural coal waste and the man-made waste in London. So within class, we then moved on to look at this table, okay? And we filled in the evidence and then what does this suggest imply about the location columns within the class. Obviously, that's not as easy to do here through the online lessons. So I have already filled in, taken the answers we came up with to those questions in the last 2 slides and slotting them into this table to help us plan our answer to question 2. All right, so you can see there, on the left-hand column there, we've got our focus. It's what that section of our writing is going to focus on. I did note in class about how often the top mark questions, they didn't just discuss one source and then the other. They sort of intertwined the two. So that's why with focus there, I've got Aberfan, London, Aberfan, London. All right, I've then put the commenting on. So in Aberfan, we're commenting on how the village is described. We've said in the evidence, it's tucked away. Few people had ever heard of it. What does this suggest and imply about the location? Hidden, if not for the disaster, it would have remained invisible and forgotten. Moving on to London, how the city is described. Colossal city, significant large, you wouldn't think a disaster could happen to it. Again, taking all that information we've just considered and popping it into this table. All right, so I'm going to stop this one here because this is where our lesson ended on Thursday. All right, the next video, which is for Monday's lesson, is going to focus on writing up question 2. So you can stop here if you are looking back at the lessons from last week. All right, and now carry on with the lessons from this week. But I just wanted to do the videos we've done so far, just so you had the same understanding as everyone else will coming up to this question. All right, take care. And next one should be available for you to see.